Ой, вампиру. Oui, брат. Шантаж White что-то там такое. Количество единиц опыта, которые вы получаете от объятых горожан, напрямую зависит от их качества крови. Понял. Як мені улучшить уровень гипноза? Иди сюда, покусаю, блядь. Дай кровушки. Ну давай я тебя кусну. Dead inside. Не знаю, что в этой игре делать. Убежище. Давайте улучшим оружие. Ну. О, 10 до оглушения. Ага. Мне тоже не нравится тишина. Лондон, бля.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year. I'd step back, sir.
Воу. Так, ребята. Ты, по-моему, не туда воюешь. Там твого убивают. А то и просто ушел, ну типа... Ой, хорошо. Яке ти вомне существо. Давай будем кушать.
It's locked.
Питань нема. Locked, так locked. Не хотят нам помогать. Ну и не надо.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
подожди, ну. Лейкленд. Ладно. Показалось. Вот.
Fuck you all! Fuck it all! Stop it now, Albert, stop it! I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
What? Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best.
What? You saw what?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to...
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Футбольная амбулатория. Мигрень. Ого. Тяжело.
What can you tell me about this?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
You don't have anywhere to go?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's...
Perhaps you could focus.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that... I'm...
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible...
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lab.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really...
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
Yes, you did. And it was cowardly and inexcusable.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help...
I said sod off. Go...
Goodbye, young man.
I won't end up another drunk arsehole littering the streets. Not me.
Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for the...
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it?
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Коллега.
I'd like to see what kind of...
Good evening.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane?
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say? Tell me, who intrigues
The
you?
region itself is something to see, but I would say
Is there anyone I...
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get...
What do you think of them?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Нормально. Бизнес растет.
Goodbye, miss. I cannot enter. Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like...
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people in.
Your father is worried about you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So, may I...
I'm not bothered.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the...
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitehall.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. Look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
Ля. Довольный.
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Is there only pain that...
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are
Suffering in
related.
this world.
Those two have hidden their affections well. These men, they're a company of professional vampire hunters.
You're late. Where's my money?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one.
I'm not a journalist.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a...
Really? But still, here I am.
I'm Joe Peterson's son, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe.
According to you, physicians are scarce in...
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are...
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more.
Why do you keep on working for the gang, Joe? You know it doesn't suit you.
It's true, I hate this job. And I know I made some bad choices, but I'm a wet boot boy now. And people won't forget it.
You could leave tomorrow. Start another life in another town.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. We are poor. My son's weak. And there's no way he'll endure another disappointment.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else. Whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Никаких сожалений.
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Cheap price, good quality. Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
Что продаешь, баря?
Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like...
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis.
Have you heard of a...
Nurse Crane. So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Ага.
How is business?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket...
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war?
Violence is increasing.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever. Madness, something like that.
Where did this happen?
In the closed workshops nearby.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men...
Right then.
Тридцать пять шиллингов. Яка ж ти мразюка. Большая банкота, блядь, только. Шиллингов.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr.
Darius.
Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now, goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
Сука.
It's locked. I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Come on, take a look. Don't be afraid.
The walls of your home will not protect you.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize.
I am Dr. What do you mean when you say that I am more lost?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know?
But you are seeking answers, aren't you?
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flu.
Really? And what would...
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is...
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where...
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous...
Joseph...
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church.
What do you mean when you say that I am...
All scientists are entangled in a world of
Quite a judge...
But you...
I am. But the answers are... Do you know...
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor...
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more...
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are...
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Have you any friends? Any...
No. But I have a disciple I see as...
Where did you send...
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching cruise.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil.
Він по-любому вже здох.
Don't you fear getting sick?
I've been touched by God's grace.
Благодать Божья.
I have had enough.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town?
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But...
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. Oh, glad.
What is a journalist doing in this borough?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth?
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you.
But not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Have you any idea...
I've had to run and hide more than once from friends.
I'm convinced there is more at work here.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza?
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority...
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
I heard you were investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damned fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
Від тебе інформації очень мало.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you... I know what you're thinking. I know you understand what I'm saying. You're silent. Very well.
Пять.
Hello again, miss. Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu.
Так ты...
Very well. The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter. I cannot enter.
О, бля.
Don't be shy, handsome.
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few...
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Хорошо сказано.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crasionescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is...
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't...
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have...
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
Понял?
You can put your own life in danger, that's...
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Понял.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel.
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight
Are you talking...
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually...
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England.
I'm sure you could have found another job, perhaps less lucrative. Maybe you should try again.
And when exactly was the last time you looked for a job? Or worried about the rent, or what, or when you were going to eat?
Резонно, согласен.
Do you need any assistance?
It depends on the price.
I will see you later. Goodbye, miss.
О, сейчас будем биться. Чего у вас так трахует? Давай сюда свое кушанье. Что это? Отлично. Худея паровоз. Найди Ричарда. Вот тебе и Ричард.
Путин, вашу Украину вообще-то создал Ленин. В той час перша згадка слова Українка в 1177 роком, а Росія 1387. Тільки почало нас Львів швидше за слово ніж.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed.
Так.
I would like to ask you...
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant,
Really?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott.
Не прикол.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some
Well, you, for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Wow.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic...
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the...
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the dead...
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have...
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why...
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the...
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales.
Вот и другая подсказка на Камелию.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your news.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lived?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Да не. Не соглашусь.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight. The Baron smiles.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about. And that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious camellia.
Are you not curious?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
May I ask you a few...
Extraordinary part of town, is it not?
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name.
What can you tell me about an old...
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Ага.
I'll leave you alone. Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite. Good evening, Mr. Nivicott. Do you need medical...
It may be wise to let you prescribe me.
I understand your appetite for words.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health.
I'll leave you alone. Good evening, Mr. Nip.
And good evening.
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No.
Still, you don't...
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I wouldn't...
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure.
I'll leave you alone.
А як мені улучшить этот гипнозик? Это... Вам всем надо лекарство. Давай, дед.
Just 1 minute, please. You again. Go away.
Sir, wait. Stop this.
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side?
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see, Dorothea. Don't make me regret.
А, это коллекционный предмет.
It's locked.
Не тяжелое, там буду сейчас стабильно.
I need help! He's going into convulsions, Doctor!
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Razvan Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Aspirin and salicin, you say? Why not some warm milk and a kiss on the cheek? Where are the quinine salts?
Tried buying, borrowing, even stealing. There's none to be found, Doctor.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalp! Hand me that scalp!
What can I do, Doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, Doctor. None at all.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy. Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor. He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see.
Ага.
I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor!
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor.
Гайки.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners. I suspect it was more than intuition alone that led you to us. So, how might I be of service, Dr. Reed?
I've come to put an end to this insufferable blackmailing, Dorothy.
Doctor, you think your warnings scare me? I've stolen and plied, blackmailed and lied, but what else am I to do? I'm all these people have.
But why, Lady...
She's pristine and proper, all right. But that she-wolf in sheep's clothing murders the poor for sport. I have her where she belongs, and I'll milk her for all she's got.
Dr. Swansea is a sensible and honest man. He wouldn't...
It's easy for you to say, Doctor. These people cannot go to the police, nor to the hospital. They don't even speak English. They depend on me for everything.
So, the end...
I know you're kind, Doctor. Just another fine-heeled, silver-spooned gentleman who was given the world on a platter. You know nothing of poverty. Nothing of the shame, the hunger, the loneliness.
You've convinced me of the sincerity of your actions and their noble justifications. But all the same, blackmail is a crime, and it will stop, Nurse Crane.
So, are you going to turn me over to the authorities?
Listen very carefully, Dorothy. You will erase from your memory everything you pretend to know about Lady Ashbury and Pembroke Hospital.
Let that rich bitch off the hook over my dead
Nurse
body.
Crane, enough. Listen as if your life depended on every word. I know you've a generous heart who gives freely to those in need, but you shall walk away from the shadier streets of your business.
I will never abandon...
Dorothy, the discussion has come to a close. Your clandestine activities in the Resistance are over. Let it go.
I'll let it go. Yes. All gone.
one stinks already. Eat this! He's done for! Crush the beach, back in the train. Hit it, boy! She's been killing.
Хавать буду твой хук, бля. Давай, хавай.
It's locked, all right.
Its effectiveness has been proven by many. Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough Cordial.
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in. If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the court.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask you?
I am Darius Petrescu.
I'm... but... How do you...
Yes.
Do you have any...
This... No. It's...
Did you?
Yes. His manuscript is as pompous.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
So, like, she seems more... Tell me everything you know about...
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost...
Who is she?
She's not from around here, that's all we know.
You say she has no close family.
Well, there's that awful poet who...
Are you not worried?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever, too.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Prochaska?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Do you need some help?
I am very tired, but that...
Well,
3 drugs from an English doctor. Who will assist Dorothea helping our comrades now that I die?
А цього без хава іменно тупого мудака.
Що ти щось сказав?
Ні, забив. Так, 4 косаря опыта.
The Swanbrook cordial can be the answer to all your problems.
It's all a bloody joke for you, isn't it? Stupid drugs for the sick and suffering. The wet boots will be proud of me.
Human blood. Whoever left these marks did so deliberately.
Kill it, boy!
Як через стену? Сейчас покушаю. Я просто на тобі отхаваюсь максимально. Да. И короночка. На тобі колом в глаз, блин. Тварь. Тупейші охотники, скільки їх тут перевалив у мене. Так, мне надо сделать переутомление, блять. Я могу улучшить часть обычной рукояти. Мне надо все 3 штуки. Я знаю, в кого и купить. Где-то имеет водила.
Good evening, Milt.
Good evening,
I'd
wise choice.
В тебе одна тільки, я понял. $296 урона. $15.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
получится. А вот это получится. Чё, блин? Меню гаража.
Sometimes you act like a real jerk, you know that?
Oh, come on, Ozzy, don't be like that.
What? Like what? Like someone who felt betrayed by the man he loves? Did you ever even try to find me? Rescue me?
No, it's not like that. I wanted to. I was so afraid to leave the hospital, not to be seen with you.
We survived this shit together. That's all that matters. I know you did your best. Fuck the wall, right? And fuck them all.
Fuck the wall. Fuck them all.
Hello again, Mr. Thatcher.
Yes, this neighborhood may stink of dog shit and reek of piss, but to me it smells like the purest mountain.
Do you need med...
Don't get me wrong, sir. I'm grateful for what you've done, but I've never felt comfortable.
I will see you... Tell me about...
I love him. I'm not ashamed to say it. He's the best thing that ever happened to me. I can't imagine life without him.
I admire your honesty.
Courage is what we needed in the trenches, looking death in the face every day. I speak plain. I speak my mind.
Have you always been this straightforward?
All I know is, before you saved me by the sewer, my only regret was I wouldn't be able to hold or kiss Newton again. I love him.
Why should you be...
I'm not, I said.
Do you want to talk about why you have...
No!
An irrational fear like yours is usually rooted in a specific...
Well, Doctor, take a guess then, if you're so interested.
Perhaps you were trapped or locked in somewhere as a child. The horror of war could have brought this memory back to the surface.
Are you joking? I grew up on a farm, had a bloody fantastic childhood.
Do you want to...
No!
An irrational...
Well, Doctor, take a guess.
Perhaps you were trapped...
Are you joking?
Ah, oh.
Why were you...
You...
Tell... Mr. Thatcher.
No, no.
I don't trust you.
I've seen...
Goodbye, Mr.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Stop.
Goodbye, Mr. Thatcher.
L2, R2. Ну хорошо. Всем спасибо, всем пока.